Hello everyone! Welcome to iLabMath. Sa video na ito, tatalakayin natin triangle congruence postulate. Okay, recall natin what we have discussed last video. Congruent triangles. It is a triangle that they have the same size and shape. Their corresponding sides and angles are congruent also. So, meron tayong figure, a triangle JOY, and triangle SAD. Tingnan natin yung congruent corresponding angles nila. Corresponding angles are congruent, right? So, corresponding angles, angle J corresponds to angle S. So, therefore, angle J is congruent to angle S. Next, angle O corresponds to angle A. So, angle O congruent to angle A. Then, angle Y corresponds to angle B. So, therefore, angle Y is congruent to angle D. Then, our corresponding sides, we have side JO corresponds to side SA. So, they are congruent. Next is side OY. OY corresponds to side AD. So, they are congruent. And the last side is the YJ. YJ corresponds to DS. And they are congruent. For us to prove that two people are identical twins, we don't need to show that all 2,000 body parts are equal. We can take a shortcut and show 3 or 4 things are equal, such as their face, age, and height. If these are the same, I think we can agree they are twins. The same is true for triangles. We don't need to prove all 6 corresponding parts are congruent. We have 3 shortcuts or methods. Sa identical identical twins, hindi natin kailangang lahat ng body parts sila ay equal sila para masasabi nating kambal yung dalawa. Katulad din yun sa triangles. Sa triangles natin, meron tayong shortcut, hindi kailangan yung 6 corresponding parts are congruent. Meron tayong 3 shortcut, and these are the triangle congruence postulate. Meron tayong SAS congruence postulate, ASA congruence postulate, and the SSS congruence postulate. Pero pasadahan muna natin ano yung included side and included angle of a triangle. Pag sinabing included side, pag sinabi natin included side, ito yung side na in between sa dalawang angles. So, side na nasa gitna ng dalawang angles, tinatawag na included side. Included angles naman, ay ito yung angles na nasa gitna ng dalawang sides. So, remember, included side na nasa gitna ng dalawang angles. Included angles na nasa gitna ng dalawang sides. So, we have an example, triangle LUV. Included side natin dito, given, di ba? Given yung dalawang angles. Tapos yung included side nila or in between nila ay merong, in between ng dalawang angles, merong side. Ito yung tinatawag na included side. And this, sa angle U and angle V, ang included side ng angle U and angle V is the side UV. Ito, side UV. Then, dito naman sa included angle, example na included angle natin. So, given yung isang angle, sa gitna siya ng dalawang side. Ito yung first side, ito yung second side, ito yung angle. Ito yung tinatawag na included angle natin. So, included angle of side UV and side UL is the angle U. Ito, angle U. Okay, so we will start with SAS congruent postulate. Anong ibig sabihin ng SAS congruent postulate. Ito yung side, angle, side. Ibig sabihin, in between ang angle sa side. So, meron silang, etong triangle nito ay merong included angle. Okay. If two sides of an included angle of one triangle to two sides or congruent to two sides and an angle of another triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. We have an example, triangle ABD and triangle EBC. So, ABD and triangle EBNC. So, first side natin is AB, side AB, congruent to side EB. So, imamark natin para makita natin kung sino yung magka-corresponding or congruent. Katulad nito, si side AB, congruent to side EB. So, imamark natin siya as first side natin. Next is given is the angle. So, angle, lagay muna natin. AB, line side AB corresponds to side EB. So, they are congruent. Next is the angle. So, angle B then corresponds to angle B. So, they are congruent. So, we can name that as angle ABD. Diba? Natutunan natin sa mga previous natin na lesson na ang angle ay pwede natin ipapangangalanan sa pamagitan ng tatlong vertices or tatlong points. Diba? Pwede ring isa lang. Pero pwedeng yung tatlo. Okay. So, corresponds to angle EBC. So, they are congruent. Next is the side. Para magiging side, angle, side tayo. So, ito yung tinatawag na SAS Congruence Postulate. So, ito yung side natin. Imamark natin ng dalawa para pangalawang side natin. Side DB is congruent to side CB. Okay. So, therefore, sa ating natutunan na kahit ito lang tatlo, yung side, angle, side, or itong tinatawag SAS, Congruence Postulate, pag magkapareho sila, yung tatlo lang, ay matatawag na natin silang congruent. Therefore, triangle ABD are congruent to triangle EBC by SAS postulate or SAS postulate. So we have an example, triangle LUV and the triangle GOD. So si angle U corresponds to angle O, si angle L corresponds to angle G, then angle V corresponds to angle D. So side naman, side LU corresponds to side GO. Then, angle U corresponds to angle O. Then, side, ito naman, kasi SAS tayo, so side, angle, and side. So, itong side na to, si side VU corresponds to side DO. Therefore, triangle LUV is congruent to triangle GOD by SAS postulate. So, ASA congruent postulate naman tayo. So, angle, side, angle. So, included side naman ang meron. Or, in between ng dalawang angle ay side. So, ASA congruent postulate. Angle, side, angle. So, ang gitna is side. If two angles and an included side, ito yon, included side naman na triangle, congruent to two angles and a side of another triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. So we have an example. Triangle ABC and triangle DEF are congruent pag yung angle side nila are congruent. Okay, so we have angle natin. Angle side angle. Okay, first angle natin, angle A, corresponds to angle D. So, angle A is congruent to angle D. Next is the side. Side AC corresponds to side DF, FD, CA, pwede rin AC. CA is congruent to side FD. Next is the angle. So, angle C natin corresponds to angle F. So, angle C is congruent to angle F. Therefore, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. So, we have an example by SAS postulate. Example, triangle LUV and the triangle GOD. So, L corresponds to angle G, U corresponds to angle O, V corresponds to angle D. Itong side natin, LVL or LV, pwede. DJ are congruent. Then the angle V congruent to angle D. So therefore, triangle LUV congruent to triangle GOD by ASA postulate. Third congruent postulate natin is SSS or the side postulate. So, ibig sabihin, lahat ng given are the sides or sa isang triangle, kung makikita mo lang na, mapuprove mo lang na yung tatlong side nila ay magkapareho, ibig sabihin, they are congruent. That triangles are congruent. So, if three sides of one triangle are congruent to the three sides of another triangle, then the two triangles are congruent. So, meron tayong example, si triangle KSJ and triangle NSI are mapuprove natin na congruent sila kung ang tatlong sides sila are congruent. So, we have KS. Side KS is congruent to side NS. Okay? Kasi magkapareho sila ng markings. Next, SG. SG, this side, is congruent to side SI. Ito. Then, JK, this side, JK is congruent to IN. Therefore, triangle KSJ congruent to triangle NSI by SSS postulate. So, we have our activity. Meron to sa inyong mga SSLM. First activity, how do I recognize you? Direction, name the parts of a congruent triangle and give the postulate for their congruence. Either SSS, SAS, or ASA postulate. Number 1 problem is done for you. So, makikita natin ang congruent parts nila. Congruent parts nila, nakalagay na angle N, congruent to angle Q. Side NL is congruent to side QP. Angle L is congruent to angle P. So, given angle N, angle, side angle. So, the postulate is ASA, angle, side angle. So, we will answer number 2. So, part VU congruent to side WY. Then, TV congruent to side OY. And the last side is WO congruent to side UT. So, since ang given is tatlong sides, so our postulate is SSS postulate. Number 3, given is the side, given the side, angle, and the side. So first side is the PD congruent to side YA. Then the angle D congruent to angle A. Then the side, last side or the second side is the ED, side ED congruent to side AS. So the given is side, angle, side. So the congruent is SAS postulate. Sorry, the postulate rather is SAS postulate. Then the last number 5, given side, and this side. Kasi wala tayong angle na nakikita dyan na nilagyan ng marking. So, itong side na to, symmetric property of triangle. So, dito na, etong side na to is congruent. So, side AB is congruent to side BD. Then, side AC congruent to side CD. And the third one is side BC congruent to side BC. Reflexive property of equality of the triangle. Then, as tatlong side ang given, so we have SSS postulate. Activity 2, we are congruent or not. Direction, complete the congruent statement using ASA and SSS congruence postulate. If none of these methods work, write not. So, number 1, triangle NOP congruent to triangle DES. So, we have the given is the side, angle, and the side. So, SAS. Then, number 2, triangle ABC congruent to triangle EFD. ABC, EFD. So, the given is 3 sides. So, this is SSS congruent postulate. Number 3, triangle NNMO congruent to triangle EDT. So, we have angle, side, and an angle. Included is the side. The number 4, triangle KGH congruent to triangle KJH. JH. So we have 3 sides, so SSS. Number 5, triangle POS congruent to triangle MNL. So we have, since the given is side, and an angle. So it's not. We have, hindi siya SAS, hindi ASA, and hindi siya din siya SSS. So it's not. Then, number 6, triangle JOE congruent to triangle PEO. So, the given is the side, angle, and the side. So, this is SAS. Activity 3, fill it up. Direction, complete the corresponding congruent parts to make the triangles congruent by using the specified congruence postulate. Then, draw the triangles and mark the congruent parts. So, if NL, side NL, congruent to side JB, and PL, congruent to side EB, and blank, then triangle NLP is congruent to triangle JBE by SSS congruence postulate. So, sides yung given. So, you have two triangle NLP and triangle JBE. So, si NL daw, NL is congruent to JB. So, itong side na to, first side. Then, PL is congruent to EB. So, PL, ito si PL, congruent to EB. So, the remaining is side, ito si NP or PN, and side J is congruent to side JE or EG. PN congruent to side EG. Then, number 2, if angle X congruent to angle R, blank, and angle O congruent to angle A, then Triangle BOX is congruent to triangle CAR by ASA Congruence Postulates. So, included angle ang meron, angle, side, angle. So, we have the two triangle, si angle X daw, si BOX ang triangle na to, then triangle CAR. So, si angle X is congruent to angle R. And, since ang postulate natin is angle, side, angle. So, meaning, side na dalawa yung congruent by ASA. So, dalawang angle at isang side. So, first, second angle natin is si angle O. Ito, yung given is congruent to angle A. So, meaning, ang kulang natin is the side by ASA. So, side natin, included side. So, this side is congruent to this side. So, OX is congruent to AR. Okay, activity 4, direction, read the situation below and answer the following questions. During the boys or Girl Scout camping, the scouts were asked to build their own tent by platoon. One of the criteria in judging the tent is the congruency of the measurements. Suppose you are one of those scouts and your platoon built a tent with a front view like as a figure shown below. Paganito yung tent. Then, list, question number 1, list the pair of congruent parts of the two triangles that you formed into a tent. So, congruent parts, so we have the side BP congruent to side GP. Then, side BS, ito, side BS congruent to side GS. Then, side PS congruent to side PS. And, what is our congruence postulates would help you defend that your tent has the congruency of the measurements. So, since yung given is tatlong sides, so SSS congruence postulate. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Yun na yung nasa activity ninyo from 1 to 4. Yun na yung answer. So, thank you for watching. And please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell para ma-notify kayo sa susunod nating mga video. Thank you and bye-bye.